Francesca is a young woman who lives in a small Italian town. A recent tragedy has completely changed her life. Her husband, a man who always put his family second to his ambitions, left behind a mountain of debts, not caring what happens to his wife and their young daughter. After his sudden death, Francesca was faced with a harsh reality. All their possessions, house, furniture, personal belongings must be sold to pay off the debts. She is forced to sell off even her jewelry, which were expensive gifts from her husband, and clothes that hold memories of better times. Events begin as Francesca looks longingly at the empty house. She is surrounded by people who have come to the sale of her belongings. Among them are not only buyers, but also those who just want to see how the family used to live. Some of them express pity, but most are consumed by the desire to snatch something valuable. Francesca tries to hold herself together so as not to show weakness. Her daughter, small and not yet fully aware of what is happening, stays close by, clutching an old toy she has managed to save. In the evening, when the house is empty, Francesca is alone. She sits in the room where expensive furniture used to be and ponders what to do next. Her friend Maria, the only one who genuinely wants to help, comes to support her. They discuss the situation and Maria suggests an unexpected idea. She talks about a lottery in which the main prize is a service or product provided by the organizer. Francesca doesn't understand at first, but Maria explains that if the opportunity to spend an evening with Francesca is put up for raffle, she can earn enough to pay off her debts. The idea shocks Francesca. She is outraged and flatly refuses. Several days pass. Francesca continues to look for a way out. Her attempts to find a job come to nothing and her debts only grow. She realizes more and more that her pride will not be able to feed her daughter. Gradually, the thought of the lottery begins to seem less horrible to her. She realizes that this could be her last chance. Finally, after much deliberation and another visit from creditors threatening to take the house away, Francesca agrees to Maria's idea. Preparations for the lottery begin. Maria takes charge of the organization, while Francesca, despite her inner embarrassment, tries to look confident. The announcement of the raffle spreads quickly through the town. Some react with interest, others with condemnation. Francesca becomes the object of gossip. People discuss her act, and everyone feels obliged to express an opinion. But what worries her most is how this situation will affect her daughter. She tries to keep the girl out of the conversation and keeps convincing herself that she is doing everything for her future. The day of the prank comes. In the evening, a lot of people gather at Francesca's house. The whole town seems to be here. There are rich and poor, old and young. Everyone has bought a ticket with the hope of winning. Francesca, dressed in an elegant dress, stands in the center of attention. Her beauty and grace attracts stares. She smiles, but inside she feels a great excitement. Maria takes on the role of host and tries to maintain the atmosphere of the party. You can feel the tension in the air. The moment of the prank is approaching. Francesca notices a man in the crowd who looks at her with sincere admiration, but without a shadow of disdain or self-interest. His name is Carlo, and he has not come here for the prize, but because he is interested in Francesca herself. He buys a ticket, but unlike the others, he doesn't try to get her attention. When the winner is announced, the crowd reacts violently. The person no one expected wins is a quiet, inconspicuous man named Giorgio. After the evening is over, Francesca feels relieved but also devastated. Giorgio is victorious and shows restraint, offering to hold the meeting on his terms. He does not insist on immediate fulfillment of the prize, making it clear that he respects her situation. Francesca thanks him for his understanding. Meanwhile, Carlo tries to approach her but stops when he notices her talking to Maria. His interest in Francesca grows, but he decides not to rush things. In the following days, Francesca begins to organize her life. The money from the lottery allows her to pay off most of her debts. Her inner state also changes. She feels that she has made a step forward, despite all the difficulties. Giorgio, instead of demanding something from her, starts to help her. He offers to help with the house and even with finding a job. His kindness surprises Francesca. She realizes that she was wrong in her expectations of him. Carlo, observing what is happening, decides to act. He comes to Francesca on the pretext that he wants to help her with the repairs. They have a conversation in which Carlo speaks openly of his admiration for her strength and beauty. Francesca, who is used to people judging her, senses that Carlo is sincere. Gradually a friendship begins between them, which grows into something more. However, things get complicated when old gossip starts to surface. People in town keep discussing the lottery, and many believe that Francesca has embarrassed herself. This makes her feel the weight of judgment again. Carlo tries to support her, but she fears his reputation will suffer if they are together. Giorgio, noticing her condition, tells her that she should not pay attention to the opinion of others. He tells her his story, full of trials, and convinces her that the most important thing is her and her daughter's happiness. Francesca begins to realize that her life can finally change for the better. She accepts Giorgio's help and gives herself permission to be happy with Carlo. In the final scene, she sits in the garden of her house with her daughter in her arms, watching Carlo and Giorgio talk like old friends. Her heart is filled with hope and she feels free for the first time in a long time.